Welcome to Attican Plays Farm Manager 2021. All right, hi, this is Attican and welcome to Series 16, Episode 1 of Farm Manager 2021. We are about to do the last scenario, the last remaining one on the list, Trees and Shrubs. Let's see what that means. All right, here, Trees and Shrubs, Board of Growing Cereals and Perennials. Time for trees and shrubs. So it looks like we have to construct 10 greenhouses, produce apples and pears. That's going to take orchards. And make blackcurrant, gooseberry, strawberry, and tomato. These three berries can all be done in greenhouses, and the tomatoes can be done in greenhouses. So maybe that's a way to go with that to kind of tie those together, but we will need some orchards. So let's take a look and see if we want to make any rules. Well, first of all, we can't make a rule, no crops, because we've got to have the apples and pears. We got a cabbage patch here, 55 days out. A house where I don't care for it. All right. Okay, let's see what money we can scrape up here. All right, 88, that is not much. We need some kind of engine, absolutely. So we'll go out here and grab our medium sheds and go. So I'll see you in 3 days. Okay, our training finished, and thinking about so the question becomes, do we want to just get this done, or do we want to kind of make a big farm out of this? And it's our last one. Let's go out with a bang. Let's do this. Let's set some goals and some rules. Rule number one. Within a year, so by 2022, we have to produce the food that we feed to our animals. So if we're going to have cows, and we're going to feed them grass, we have to be growing grass. We have to be growing oats, whatever we feed them. We won't feed them everything, but whatever we feed them, we have to be growing it. Now that's a big rule. That means a lot right there. Especially if we combine that with a rule that says something like, what would be 3, 4, 5? Oh, I don't want to go too crazy. Let's say our economic goal is to have a $3 million a month estimated budget, right? So we project making a profit of $3 million a month. That'll be our end state along with all of these, and we can finish these before or after that, it doesn't matter. So in other words, if we finish the scenario, we'll just keep going, and I haven't looked to see if there's any constraints on us. Let's see here. Nah, it doesn't appear. Yeah, it looks like we've got everything available to us. Yeah, so So what did we say? Feed all our animals, and $3 million a year $3 million a month in monthly budget or projected profit, however you want to look at it. And we feed all our animals. I already said that, and that's enough rules. That's quite a bit, actually. That's going to make this into quite a game. Now, look at this right here. Sheep's milk is up 18%. So let's look at, I wonder if that would show up. Does it show up here? I don't know if it's 90, if the price is 95.2% of this, plus that, the 18%, or if that already has I don't know. It doesn't look like it's got any big bump to it, but it doesn't matter. We'll start out with sheep either way. Sheep are a great way to start. So let's go get our medium sheds. go to our usual spot and build our usual setup. Like so, road. Barn. And we'll take a loan because we want to build a house. And we'll set up our trade for organic sheep. Oh, you know what I wanted to say, don't you? You know what sermon I wanted to give. Oh, God. Okay. We'll buy 500 organic crops. 500 grass. Wheat. Soy. And peas. And we will sell the milk, and the wool, and that's enough for now, and go. And start recruiting, and I'll be back after I get this set up. I'm going to do 4 by 4 by 4 by 4, 2 sheep, 2 goat, organic and non-organic. Okay, so I'll be back in a bit. All right, so moved ahead a bit. I think what I'm going to do is sort of play this one in chunks and then explain. Play and explain, play and explain. Best way to look at this is probably to go here and look at the buy more land. Okay, you can see I've been busy. This right here is generating excellent income, over $1 million in profit a month. So taking advantage of that and buying land, bought out here, bought that farm, that abandoned farm, and tore it all down and recaptured the money from it. Kind of renovate and sell, renovate and sell, renovate and sell. You make pretty good money on that. And I really bought all these. I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 sections. And they keep getting more and more expensive. This one's $190. So paid a fair amount of money for this, but we've got this little engine right here. It's just humming. So what I've done is set up, what I want to have are these large areas of farming. I really like the 8 large plots, 8-hectare plots, supported by a central setup of a house with machine experts, plenty of tractors and what have you, and silo and manure pits and what have you that you need. And what I've done now is set up organic grass, regular grass, organic crops, regular crops, organic wheat, regular wheat, and these last two, organic, well, that's regular, organic soy and regular soy. And that gives us 4 of the 5 products we need for both organic and non-organic to feed our sheep. And then the last 2 are peas, organic and non-organic. So now we've got our sheep, these fields, these 10 fields, 8 over here, these top 2 here, will feed our sheep. starting next year. So we'll have all this set up and ready to rock and roll. Then over here we've got carrots, which the goats need, organic and non-organic. And then we've got to figure out what else do the goats need on top of, let me pause this. We need grass silage, which we're going to make right up here, crops, carrot, and straw. And the straw will come out of the fields we've already planted. So by having these two right here, we've got 2 of the 6 of the 8 people here. 2 of them are dedicated to making silage, organic and non-organic. So now we've got our silage. So this setup right here, these 4 across here, and then these 8 over here, we just fed our animals. So now we're feeding our goats and our sheep. And it won't actually kick in until next year, but we've kind of got what we wanted. We wanted to be able to feed them. So now we need to decide what to do with the rest of the fields out here. We've got 4 unaccounted for, so we can do some real damage with those 4. And if we just look at what we have to grow, we could plant huge crops of these 4 things. As a matter of fact, we could certainly do that. Yeah, why don't we just do that? Now the problem with this, if we go with black currant out here, okay, we can do that and make a massive field of black currant berries. It's going to take a whole bunch of people to pick those. That's okay. We'll go for it. We're going to fertilize with manure and have it, what do you call it? Irrigated and ready to go. And what's the next thing we need? We need apples and pears. We'll do that later. Gooseberries. Let's just make a whole lot of gooseberries. There we go. Beautiful. And then let's have a whole bunch of strawberries. A huge field of strawberries. And then we will have a big old field of, I forgot to look, tomatoes. We'll grow tomatoes out here. And I was thinking about doing hothouses. Oops, it's apples. Tomatoes. There we go. Massive crop of tomatoes. Okay, so we'll have the tractors out here getting the fields ready. It's November. So they'll get everything ready so that we can plant in the spring. I'm not even sure about the berries. You might be able to grow those through the winter. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm not a farmer. But we'll see how that goes. And then we want, what's our 2, apples and pears. So now I've managed to completely take the greenhouses out. That's great. Okay, the greenhouses don't matter anymore, except that, we'll find something where they do matter. What we found was like frozen spinach. I thought that frozen spinach was pretty awesome. So why don't we build a big spinach operation with greenhouses. Here, let me let this run. I'm going to build a large operation of greenhouses growing spinach, and then we're going to set up frozen spinach and sell the spinach that way. And you can see how these fields will more than do all we need done for the those 4, the berries and the tomatoes we're supposed to grow. We got that covered and then some. So next time when I come back, we'll look at the greenhouses I'm going to build and see how that goes. And then I'll just have to watch this and make sure that we have the right, see this, the winter approach of winter. It means we can't do anything else. So I don't have to worry about whether I have anything to plant. This grass here, I imagine it's going to be the same thing. It's getting too late. Well, is that true? Well, we do need sprayers. Well, maybe we do, maybe we don't. I'm not sure. Oh, we're waiting on manure. Are we really? Okay, I'm at a loss as to why we're waiting on manure. But here we go. Now we're going to go out and fertilize this field. And again, it'll be like this one. It won't be able to plant. It's too late in the year. All right, so yeah, that's enough of that. Again, the best view of this is from here. So here's our 4 of our crops, organic and non-organic for the sheep. There's the last 2. Then we've got I forget what that was, and then we've got the 4 that we need to grow for our requirements: the tomatoes and black currant and what were they? Gooseberries and strawberries. Yeah. So we've got giant fields of those going, and then because we're required to do some greenhouses, I'll go ahead and build that out and show you what that looks like next. All right, so welcome back. In the last segment, I showed you what I was up to up here with the farming. And the only other update on that is that I have gone in now. We're spring of the next year. So this approach is not the fastest approach, obviously, because we built our one engine and we're just kind of letting it rest on its laurels. But anyway, you see a lot more equipment here because I've started to put in the equipment that's needed for harvesting, because and planting. So we're going to do the actual planting. We did a lot of prep work. We did plowing and cultivating and fertilizing, and it's ready to be sown, but nothing has been sown out here. Well, now that it's spring, that work will start, and we should see folks coming out of our house, heading over and grabbing a tractor. Let's make them go more quickly. Grabbing tractors and going out and getting started on the planting. And you can see right here, we're actually starting to do some, what are these people doing? Cultivating by hand. Oh my word. That's probably a mistake. That's probably, well, let them go. I did add in a couple of seasonal worker houses here so that we could have enough people to get to work on this stuff. But doing this by hand, I'm not crazy about that approach. Oh, this loner down here doing this thing by himself. Okay, so anyway, that's kind of where we are on the farming or the crop growing. Now, I put in this kind of a full module of large greenhouses, thinking that would take care of our greenhouse thing. It didn't. So you notice it says 0 of 10 greenhouses. Well, I thought, well, okay, maybe they literally mean greenhouse, not large greenhouse. So I put in 10 regular greenhouses, and it gave me credit, and I was all done, and then I deleted them because I didn't want them, and I went back to not having credit. So when they say 10 greenhouses, they literally mean greenhouses, not large greenhouses, and you have to keep the silly things. So we're going to come up with some way to use regular greenhouses, and that shouldn't be bad. We'll just set up a module like this with regular greenhouses. So we'll need half as many we'll only need maybe we'll make it a really big thing. Maybe let's see, this is 20. Maybe something with 40 greenhouses and this same kind of setup in the middle. Yeah, we'll do something like that. So what I've done here is this setup, because we did these massive fields out here with those 4 products we have to make. We're done with that, as soon as that harvest comes in. So what I thought let's just do something else. So I've got all these set to organic raspberries. So we're going to be growing lots of organic raspberries. In fact, in one day, we're going to start harvesting them. And we'll only get about 200 per. And there's 20 of these. That's 4,000. That's not much. Well, I was thinking about 4,000. That's not much. Run them through a frozen. They got to fix that. That's horrid. First time you come into this when you got a new game, when you've loaded, you don't get this scroll bar. That's just that needs to be fixed. I was thinking about making frozen raspberries, but if we're only going to make 4,000 at a pop, honestly, that's pathetic. Well. Who cares? I'm going to do that anyway. Let me get this guy here. Let's see. Let's do them. Let's orientate them this way. Put a road. Yeah. I'm kind of seeing two of these. 2, 4, 6, 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. Ah. Crap. 700. 1,400. So. God bless. Sorry. 2, 4, 6, 7. There we go. All right. Another one will go right there, I think. Well, I could have just measured this out, couldn't I? Jeez, that would have been a lot easier. Yeah, it'll fit right there, perfect. And we're going to put a warehouse, very convenient to that, like that. And then we'll put a house in, very, very close, like that. And we'll give them some decorations. There we go. And yeah, that'll do it. Need power probably. We can put the power right here. I just missed. Mouse slip right there. Ah, crap. Get rid of that. Replace the road. Try this again. When you do that power, you got to make sure it's highlighting one of the poles it's going to attach to. So here we go. Here we got our first harvest of our first extremely unimpressive harvest of raspberries. 216. All right, so let's get some manufacturing, folks. We don't care about diseased fields. They'll automatically get sprayed when the time comes. And man, that was a mistake, allowing the manual work on this. Oh, that was horrid. And I don't think you can run a tractor in there and finish it off. I think once you're there, you're stuck. So, lesson learned there, maybe. It should be a lesson learned, but I probably won't learn a thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're going to change production here, and we're going to make the frozen raspberries organic. All right, and you can see we're harvesting some, which is great, but we also know we're not making enough. So here's what we're going to do with that. We're going to set up a trade. It doesn't have to be one or the other on this kind of thing. What we'll do is say, okay, what we want to do is buy bio raspberries and always maintain, let's say, 2,000, right? We're not going to sell them ever. we're going to buy 2,000 to make sure that this factory can keep going. And then whatever these guys can make will make us buy less, so we'll just make more money, right? And then we can add more modules to this if we want to keep feeding this to kind of improve the margins. But the truth is, we'll make money on it I'm fairly certain, I can run the numbers, but we'll make money on it buying and selling them. Buying this and selling that, because if we look at the prices, we have to do it from the buy perspective. But if we look at at these two prices, boy, they're expensive. 37. Let's see. Let's just do 2,000 of them. They're costing $75,000. But we can sell them for 108. Now, of course, on scenarios we're only getting 95.2 of this, but that's still 60, or no, of this. So that's still 90 some thousand versus 75. So we can make money on all the ones we buy and then freeze, and we can make more money on whatever we're capable of producing. So we'll have to figure out, again, what are our production rates, and then build more of these if we want to maximize the profit we're making from this. Shoot, there's no reason we can't do 2 of them. I can't think of a rule. I don't think we set a rule that said we couldn't do this for other stuff. Higher manufacturing. I got to move their scope down. Are these people will run off and work in there? I do not want that. Fortunately, none of these are needing people now. They've got enough. It takes a while when you set up one of these, by the way. First of all, it's a lot of recruiting, which is a slow, tedious process in this game. But once you do all the recruiting, it takes a while for it to all kind of hit a stasis where everything's even and flowing, and you don't have a lot of problems, because you'll get a lot of needing staff when these are first going. But eventually it evens out, and they catch up with the work, and everything flows pretty nicely. So 2 people per large warehouse seems to work very nicely. It may even be a slight overkill. I don't know. I don't know if anyone has looked at that. I highly doubt anyone's looked at that. If you have, let me know. Let us know what the right number is. But I like this. The 2 per seems to work out. So you can see we've got lots of these because we are buying them. We are starting to produce them. Oh, that's the other thing. I really do need to run these numbers, because it takes 500 to do 375, so we're not going to make any fortunes on this. So before those, let's see, what's our money look like? 1.3 million a month. I didn't buff these people, and that needs to be done. Okay. So as we see this over 2,000, see it didn't last long, then we'll know this is keeping up, but it isn't. Oh. And this one we need to change the production to this, which is just going to make the problem worse. Now we're really not going to be able to keep up, because we've got two two factories with improved workers demanding stuff, and we've even done some research to do our rate of production. See, we're working on 20%, but we already got it up to 15%, so they're working 15% faster in here anyway. But they will keep steady state flow, and I'll go off and run the numbers and make sure that's right. And what else do we want to do? I guess at some point we need to pay attention to our actual tasks. Now, the long pole in the tent, actually, of course, now is going to be producing the apples and pears, because the orchards take like there's a good year before you see any harvest in the orchards. And that's after you get them set up and planted. So, and I think we're going to it's kind of go big or go home. We're going to have large orchard things, and here I want to make sure that I buy the little orchard tractor. I think it's lot 2. I'm going to put a tractor in there, and I want a couple of them, I think. I've said it before, I hate this system. I get the idea of it, and there's a certain coolness to it, but overall, I truly hate it. Where can we put this guy? We'll put him back here. And then I think I'm going to repark this over here, and then repark this over here, so that the tractors are all right as you come out of the house. Okay. Not enough staff. How could that be? Oh, crap. Oh, crap. I've really goofed this up. Allowing the manual labor here on the early parts of this could all be done, and we could have it planted, and then we could go back to work. But now what's happening is the people in here, see how they're all busy? They're all out doing this because I didn't set them to not do manual work. Okay, I have screwed up royally. I mean, it's okay. We'll get over it. Lily, and the problem is now that they've started that job, they're not going to stop. Maybe no. I was hoping that was a command to tell them to stop. It isn't. Is it? No. Yeah, so the 6 people who drive our tractors here are out here doing manual work, and they won't stop. I don't think there's any way you can say, see, she's a machine operator who hasn't even been buffed yet. I mean, the only way I could make this happen right now is either build another house and hire people, or release these 6 people and rehire them, and then as I rehire them, not allow manual work. I mean, that's the only way I can make this happen. I'm just going to say forget it. Just run. Okay. What else? All right, I'll be back after I look at these numbers. No, you know what? I can't do that. I can't just let that go. Now, am I going to be cruel and fire these? Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. You're going to pay for my mistake, but I want to figure out which one's driving a tractor. It looks like none of them. No, one guy, one person. You. Elliot gets to stay. Congratulations, Elliot. Okay. The rest of these tractor driver people are going to go. They are certainly paying for my mistake, but it's a cruel world. It is a cruel world. Okay, they're all gone. Now we need to hire machine operators. All right. Oh, this is good. We're going to do this. We're going to give them their raise and turn off manual work as soon as we hire them. That's better. Okay. So we need 4 more. Okay, so we'll give you your raise, turn off manual work, and hire you. Give you your raise, turn off manual work, and hire you. Too bad you can't train them as well from that screen. That would be useful, because now I've got to go right back into the same person, look at the same people and make sure they're all level 5 machine operators. Okay, and we need 1 more, and I think we're out of them. Okay, we'll have to wait till tomorrow. Okay. Machine operator with endurance. You can have a raise. You can't do manual work. You can use machines. We'll hire you, and then we'll go back here and strengthen you, give you your training, and here we go. So now, if anything, this work's just going to be slower. But at least we got the right people doing it now. We've got our seasonal workers. And we can bring in more seasonal workers, or even build a seasonal house and you know, keep them for 1 year and release them. Right? That would be all right. Actually, that would be all right. Let's do this. Let's throw a house in right there. And let's set this up highest possible price. And hopefully we'll get some workers in here and they can work on those fields. And let's bring this scope in just in case it's an issue somewhere. There we go. Okay, I think that's about as well as we can do up there. It's a shame that we had to let people go unnecessarily, but you know, it is what it is. And now we've got operators actually doing work for us. Good deal. All right, now we're looking good. Now, some errors. Is that true? We don't have manure spreaders. No, that is not true. We do have. We've got manure spreaders. They're just both busy. So those. Okay. All right. All right. So I think we've. Man, I can't. I can't handle the being flipped around. I just get so disoriented. That's whatever. So quickly, I'm just completely lost. Here we go. All right, I'll be back in a bit. All right, welcome back again. We've made a lot of progress. You can see up here we've got our fields going. These are fields that are supporting our feeding sheep, and these two up here, the peas for feeding the sheep. And then we've added, some of these are overlap with the goats, and then we've got some carrots for the goats, and then we've got our four, and we've got silage, and then we've got our four products we're supposed to produce, and you can see now we're in great shape here. We've got we've got black currants being harvested, and we've already got 11,800 with more to come, so that number will grow. Then we've got our tomatoes are already coming in, and so you can see we're already getting well toward our goal on tomatoes. We've got strawberries that are going to be coming in 23 days. We've got gooseberries that are coming in 39 days, and we're expecting about 8,000 out of that. The gooseberries, we're supposed to do 12, but that 8,000 is an estimate. I don't think it counts the fact that we're going to use buffed people, people with, hopefully with productivity bonuses, the happiness bonuses, which will increase our yield. So what else have I done? I told you we would look at the numbers for this, and you can see here I've added an entire second module of organic raspberries, because I couldn't possibly keep up with two of these with that one, and in fact don't think I can keep up with two. But also ran into an interesting issue. Hadn't really seen this one pop up so quickly, but the frozen raspberries are actually down 27% in price. And that's even after I switched over to frozen raspberries for this one. I've just made that change recently. So we're buying all the regular raspberries. We're producing these two sets. It's 40 large greenhouses are producing the organic raspberries and can't keep up, cannot produce enough for this. And I've added in down here because it's interesting. I had put in 10 of these and got the achievement for having made the greenhouses, but then I deleted them because I didn't want them, because I wanted to do large ones, and I lost the achievement. I lost the completion of the goal. So I had to go back, so I decided to just go ahead and build out another module. And this one is 16 greenhouses with 2 houses, 1 worker per greenhouse, and I'm waiting for it to kind of stabilize to see if that's enough. It may be that 1 per greenhouse actually isn't enough, which makes what I'm going to show you in a minute even worse. But anyway, here you can see we're starting to harvest some raspberries. So these guys, do we make money doing this? Okay, that's the first question. So let's look at our spreadsheet, go back to our production, and let's look at our raspberries. Okay, so if the product is raspberry organic frozen, and you need raspberry organic, 500 will create 375. So you get 500 raspberry will create 375 frozen raspberries or organic. And if we put our prices in there and what have you, we can see if we were running 2 units of this and we have to buy the raspberries, we're making a grand total of 30 grand a month. And that, by the way, this price was at 0 demand drop. So this was a better price than what we're seeing right now, a lot better price. Monthly, if we don't have to buy the raspberries, we make $1 million a month with 2 production units. If we could create enough raspberries to keep two of these going. Let's just do one. Get this out of the way. Let's just do one. Okay, if we had one production unit doing daily cycles, which, by the way, I think you have to work your way up to that. Let's call it 24 cycles. I still don't know exactly how many it runs, but we can make $470,000 profit per month just off of one frozen raspberry factory. And with the purchases, we can make $12,000 a month. Look at the difference. So amazing difference. But I think the other thing I want to look at is if we go to the prices now. Let's look at our buy prices for raspberries, and let's just do the organic side. So right now, it costs us $37.71 to buy the raspberries, and we're only getting $39.78 out of them. So this is a good illustration of how sensitive these prices are, and how it matters that you manage your demand and have varied products. So our raspberry organic is costing us $37.71, which is pretty close to what it was, $37.71. But we're only getting out of it now, based off of the price, $39.78. 39.78. Okay, so if we go back and look at this now, we're losing money as we buy the raspberries. So as we buy raspberries, we're losing significant amounts of money. And that fits with what we're seeing in our budget, because our estimated budget, look at that, it's gone down significantly. And again, I wish this was a history here, but it's gone down significantly from when we first started this. So we're actually, this is costing us money. This whole, not only all the time and aggravation of hiring all these people, it's costing us money. And so in order to right this ship, what we're going to have to do here is go in here and say, no, we're not buying raspberries. And especially, no, we're not buying frozen raspberries. Or, organic raspberries. Now, let me see if that's going to give us an immediate change. No. We'll let that run a bit and see what that does to us. But now what's going to happen eventually is this thing's going to be completely, how should I put it? This thing is just not going to run. And it's going to be totally inefficient. This one's going to be totally inefficient because we're not buying the product. And the only place we've got the regular ones coming is this little setup down here. I set it for the regular raspberries. And it's not going to produce it. Let me find one that's... none of them have gone a lot far enough. Shoot. Oh, here we go. 90. It does 90. So 90 times 16 would be a full harvest. I mean, all of them harvesting one round. Okay, so a couple of lessons here. One real good one. I hope you'll take this to heart. They made this a game to me when they put in that market update and had this demand change and drop if you overproduce. Because and we know it's unrealistic. We know we're just our farm. How could our farm change the prices of the world? But we'll just accept that it does. And they had to, because this makes it a game. Because now you really do have to manage your sell price, and you just cannot let yourself get in a situation where you're down 27% on something that you're buying that you're producing anyway. You know, right? Your margins weren't good to start with because you're buying the raw material, and now you're down 27%. Now you got nothing. Imagine if we were on extreme doing this, we could go bankrupt trying to do something like this. So that's number one. Now, the second thing, and I apologize for all this nerd stuff, but I'll say it again. If you're still with us, you don't mind. You like the nerd stuff. And if you're not still with us, then it doesn't matter. You can't hear me. All right, so let's look at greenhouses and are they worth doing? All right, so I set up a little analysis of greenhouses. And I looked at it and said, okay, well, let's say we're making berries and we're going to sell them for a certain price. And each building has a certain upkeep cost, and that could go down if you'd done some research, but just the same. Here's the base cost. And let's say you're paying on average $1,500 for your staff. And I'm even lumping I'm doing a kind of worst case for the fields, paying that same amount to your, what do you call them? Oh shoot! Seasonal workers paying the same amount, and you really don't pay that much, but it doesn't matter. These numbers are so staggering, it doesn't matter. So, and I did a kind of a worst case, pretty big. In a greenhouse, you would have 20 greenhouses, and you'd have to have 40 staff in 5 houses, and you'd have a total of 29 buildings that you had to pay upkeep on. And I said, well, what if you could even get 5 harvests a year out of that greenhouse? And I'm not sure you can get 5, but let's say you could get 5. So your annual output on these things would be, how many harvests do you have a year? How much do you make per harvest times how many units how many greenhouses you have? So that whole setup could produce 21,000 berries in a year. The upkeep on this thing for a year would be $17,400 for all those buildings. The annual wages for those 40 people would be $720,000. So that means you're paying a cost per unit of $34.14. You're only selling it for $36.08. So your annual revenue, you could make $780,000, but you'd only make $41,000 in profit after all of that. Now, if you went out and did fields, where you could get a couple, and really you can get like probably 3 harvests of berries per field. But let's go back to 2. Let's just kind of make a worst case. You get 2, the field will produce a large field will produce about 14,000 berries and maybe more. If you have 8 fields, a full set, that would give you 17 buildings, and I called it 56 staff, 48 8 to run your tractors and 48 to do your harvesting. And we could bump that up if we wanted to. Shoot, let's just make it ridiculous. Let's go 2 more houses, 19, and we have another 24, 60, 70 people. So 19 buildings and, typo, 70 people that we're paying. And we're actually paying them less than this, but we'll keep it at the high number. We can get 224,000 units versus 21,000. Upkeep of 11.4. Annual wages are very, very high, 1.2 million. But look at the cost per unit, 34,568 in the field. Annual revenue of 8 million and a profit of 6.8 million. And these are all worst case numbers against the field work. Right, they really are. If you just had one field out there, it would take 1/8 of all these costs, but there's no way it'd be 1/8 of 70. Say you had one berry field out there along with a whole bunch of, colza and wheat and everything else. So you only had the one field that you really needed people to pick stuff. So your staff, your wages would go way down. So it wouldn't be 157. It would be less than that. But be that as it may, you could make $1 million annual profit, annual revenue, 850,000 profit versus 41,000 just from one field compared to 20 greenhouses and 8 fields. Now 8 fields would be ridiculous because you couldn't sell that much, right? So this is the real comparison. The one field, 851,000 versus a entire module of large greenhouses, 41,000. Which one's better? I mean, geez. Can you scrape by with greenhouses? Yes. Can you make money with fields? Yes, you can. You can actually make money with large fields. So there you go. That's my analysis of the greenhouses. Compared to fields, they suck. You can get by with them. So if you want to hamper yourself and give yourself a rule, I have to do greenhouses, which I've done in 1 or 2 of these, go for it because that'll make it much, much more difficult. Okay. So enough of that. So we've seen that this is a losing proposition by buying, unless we control the price. And by the way, this price was down lower. This sell price for the raspberries. this one here was actually even lower. I think it was 27. No, that's about right. That's pretty low. That's sad, and that just shows you that. So we've learned about the sensitivity of the price. You got to maintain your prices by controlling how much you put out in the market, or you'll start losing money unless you have a really profitable thing. The animals continue to be way better because they make money almost at any price, at any demand level. And the farming is very sensitive, and if you're going to use the greenhouses, you really have to control the costs. We would almost be better off not having these at all and just selling what's coming out of here and making a few pennies. Be about the same, and at least we wouldn't be driving the prices down too low. All right, so enough. Next episode, we'll put in orchards, and let's see what else we got to do. And we'll grow apples and pears. All this other stuff's done, basically. The tomatoes are getting done as we speak. The strawberries will start harvesting soon. The gooseberries will start harvesting soon. So all we need really are orchards to finish this off. But I do think, I don't know about you, but I learned a lot about the greenhouses. Don't do them. Buying products to feed frozen food factories. Don't do it. Overselling of the frozen food products, don't do it. And the little greenhouses, definitely don't do them. And there you go. So hopefully you'll join us for the next one. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it'll help you become a better player. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and join us for our next Farm Manager 2021 video. Thank you.